Let's look into one more practical example, and the most widely useful practical example is creating multiple user accounts. So instead of having to manually enter user add commands for every new user account you need to create, you can place the new user accounts in a text file and create a simple shell script to do that work for you. So the goal of shell scripts is to make life easier for the system administrator. If you happen to work in an environment with lots of users, one of the most boring tasks can be creating new user accounts. Fortunately, you can use the while loop to make your job a little easier. So the first entry is user ID you want to use for a new user account. So you need to create. So the second entry is the full name of the user. So the two values are separated by a comma. So making this a comma separated file format or .csv. So here is that vim user.csv. So I will add few more a few more users here, and sorry, this comma separated, and one more the final user. So this is the user .csv file for us. These are the users we want to add to our system. This is a very common file format used in a spreadsheet, so you can easily create the user account list in a spreadsheet program and save it in .csv format for your shell script to read and process. So you can just go through the shell script once, but we'll directly first line. The first line talks about uh, to read the file. This line to read file data. We are going to use a little shell script trick here. We will actually set the ifs separator character to a comma as the test part of the while statement. Then to read individual lines, we will use the read command. We will use the read command. So this looks like this. So the read command does the work of moving into the next line of the text in the .csv text file. So we don't need another loop to do that. The while command exits. The while command exits when the read command returns a false value. So which happens when it returns out of line to read in the file. So let's take this example. This is the final script that we added, and then the input is the variable points to the data file and is used as the redirect data for the while command. So the user.csv file looks like that I have already shown it to you. Basically, to run this problem, you must be the root user account, or else it's very difficult to deal, because a root user account only can have this access. Because we are using user add command, this utility belongs to this is admin level utility, so that's why you need root user account or root user privileges to run this problem. So then, by taking a quick look at ATC, and that's the final. So let me get into this one. So vim 11 1 prac dot exe. So this is our complete piece of code. So this is the code that we have discussed. Read it reads each line from input. So here we are redirecting the input, and first one is user ID and second one is name. And after that we are entering into the while loop, adding user ID. So this is the actual command, user add command. And then see, this is the name and this is the user ID. So both name and then user ID. Name you get it from there and user ID. And finally, once it is done, let's execute it and let's check that. So once all set, just go to the just have a quick look at the etc pass wd file. You can see that accounts that have been created recently. So just to give a quick summary of loopings. Looping is an integral part of programming. The bash shell provides three looping commands that you can use in your scripts. The first one is for loop. The for command always allows you to iterate through a list of values either supplied within the command line or contained in a variable, or maybe obtained by using a file globing to extract file and directory names from a wildcard character. And we have the while command. The while command provides a method to loop based on the condition of a command using either ordinary commands or the test command, which allows you to test the conditions of variables as long as the condition produces a zero exit status code. So the while loop continues to iterate through the specified set of commands. And the next one is the until command. The until command always provides the until command always provides a method to iterate through commands, but it bases its iterations on a command or condition producing a non-zero exit status. So this feature allows you to set a condition that must be met before the iteration stops. And you can combine loops in shell scripts producing multiple layers of loops. The bash shell provides the continue and break commands also, which allows you to alter the flow of normal loop process based on the different values within the loop. So that's what controlling the loops. Similarly, the bash shell also allows you to use a standard command redirection and piping to alter the output of a loop. So you can use a redirection to redirect the output of a loop to a file, or piping to redirect the output of a loop to another command. That's what we have done in our last the earlier example. So this provides a wealth of features which you can control your shell script execution.